At the non-partisan Migration Policy Institute. He joins us now live from New York. Very good to have you on the program, sir. Now, this extremely heavy-handed approach from the Trump administration, sending masked ICE agents to roam the streets looking for people illegally in the country. How unusual is this kind of migration policy?
Well, we never get tired of saying that actions of this administration are unprecedented, but this is truly unprecedented. We have never had this kind of a militaristic operation conducted in the communities of our country. We have had people removed in other administrations, even larger numbers, even by President Biden and even by President Obama, but they were generally done at the border and from the jails of our country. This is different because it's happening in the communities of our country. And that's why people think that this is no longer an attack to look for unauthorized immigrants. It's an attack on Americans, it's an attack on deeply held American values. And that's why you begin to see this as a pivotal moment.
A pivotal moment. What do you mean by that?
I think we may see a change both in the quality and the quantity of ICE operations. There were two major signals sent just today that Tom Homan, who is a senior official in the ICE, who has risen in ranks but has supervised ICE officials for a very long time, was sent today to manage ICE operations. We also saw Mr. Bovino, who was a Border Patrol officer, sent back from Minnesota. Just your first signal. Border Patrol is not trained to work in the streets of America. They're trained to work on the border. Streets of America are a very different challenge. And just to have sent a Border Patrol chief was a qualitatively different signal. I think we're retreating on that. We expect that there will be more accountability, there will be more supervision for Trump, for the ICE officials under Homan. And we hope that they send more officers who are trained. What we saw in evidence on Saturday was actions of untrained ICE officers. That should never have happened in any law enforcement situation.
So you seem quite hopeful that the situation might actually turn around now based on the actions of Donald Trump. But I'm wondering about the actions of the people, the Americans, who are seeing this happening on their streets, masked federal agents gunning down U.S. citizens, killing them in broad daylight. How long are Americans going to think that this is okay?
No, I think that's exactly what we're seeing. All our hearts should be full of praise for people who are standing up in Minnesota in this deep freezing weather in support of constitutional principles. I mean, people forget on Saturday, two of our fundamental constitutional principles came together and were killed. The First Amendment, which gives you the right to protest peacefully, and the Second Amendment, which gives you the right to carry arms. That's why, for a change, we have had people from the gun lobby, the National Rifle Association, to the CEOs of major companies in the country, to some Republicans, and even some people in the Trump administration itself who are beginning to treat this moment differently. That's why I think I'm beginning to say that we are at a turning point on the reaction to what has been a militaristic operation by ICE in the last couple of weeks.
Now, the images that we've seen have, of course, affected people around the world. And now you and I, we're talking here live on TRT World to our global audience as well. What do you think that these kind of images will do to the image of America as a place where someone can go and pursue the American dream?
I think that's a good question. First, let me just say images do matter. Like, I would like to say that it was the images of a disorderly border during most of the Biden administration that made people change their opinion about immigration in the country. You could say that those images were responsible for the election of Donald Trump. But the images that we now see in the streets of Minneapolis and Los Angeles and Chicago are also beginning to change the minds of Americans. That, look, we thought that we were going to be picking up the worst of the worst. This is not worst of the worst of the unauthorized immigrants. These are U.S. citizens who work for the VA administration, one of whom is a nurse, one of whom is a spouse of a veteran. And even the father of Ms. Good, who was killed last week, her father was a Trump supporter, was a Trump voter. That this is now beginning to affect sort of recesses of American society, and people don't like it. And yes, it is affecting America's image in the world, but I would like you viewers also to see the other images, which is that people are standing up. People are expressing their right to protest, and they're doing in a meaningful way. That image is also equally important as the images of the inhumanity and cruelty of ICE.
Most definitely. Mr. Chishti, thank you so much for your time and analysis and providing that additional thought here at the end. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.